Look at that sky this morning. We're driving into that little sunrise over there. It's beautiful. It is also very cold, like very cold. I've got my mittens on already, only because I had to de-ice the car, in fairness. But I'm risking the longboard. It's cold. I'll get there and I'll need to like put my mittens on to warm my hands up slowly. But it's worth it. The path is very busy today. I am just chilling at the back with Eco. I'm not in a rush. And or when it's this cold, I should really charge it both ways if I want to go really quick, i.e. like every day, because the battery really does not like the cold. 3 cyclists have mentioned now, well no, 4, 3 of which I overtook and 1 overtook me, and said this is really nippy. And I'm like, I'm in eco mode, I'm going slow. This feels slow to me. Which kind of proves just how quick is. Because when you're on it, like 20 doesn't feel that slow. Doesn't feel that quick, sorry. It's all about like what kind of roads you're on and all that kind of stuff. But on those paths down there, I could do like 20 odd. Fine, just cruising along. Without too much of a like batting an eyelid or anything like that. But obviously 13 is the thing. When you're on it and you're doing 13, you're like, that could go a bit quicker, you know? Half the reason I'm looking forward to swapping the wheels over, because then like 18 is a cruise. 18, 20 is a cruise instead of thing, which is madness. But I had an exciting day of meetings today. It's Tuesday. So it was literally like, what do we call those? High level estimation, a knowledge share, another team's review, and then I made the foolish error of trying to reorganise some divs on a page, and live to regret it. Day fucked. It's all. It looks hideous, and I can't figure out what's going on with it either. So it's quite frustrating. And then otherwise, Laura came back to get some dinner, and we're just going to bed because we're both falling asleep in front of the news, so we're just going to bed. Actually, we had that knowledge share was at 12:30. It didn't finish until about 1:10. Normally I have a nap at 12:30. And I'm in the meeting, and it's about like this certain calculator that one of the teams has implemented as part of some new legislation. And it's just like how it works and where it's getting all its figures from, and I'm watching it and I'm like, don't fall asleep, Jimmy. Also, I've been looking for keyboards. I'm looking for a wireless mechanical keyboard that has like quiet keys. I think like clear MXs are the keys I want. So if you know anything like that, hook me up, fam. Either that, or I need a new keyboard and mouse basically. Either that, or I'm looking at the Surface keyboard, like desktop keyboard for the Surface Studio. They do one of them with the fingerprint sensor in it. I may be pulled into that one. But I don't think they sell it in the UK. Anyway, my eyes are not staying open very easily. I need to go to bed. I need to wake up at 2. This morning I finished off my stuff, got it transferred onto my laptop, and I'm just kind of forging forward. I'm gonna start extending the front end of the website and start interacting with the API gateway and pushing data through and pulling data back out again. That's my plan. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a party. Made a potentially disastrous decision to come this way instead of the other way. The other way was saying 20 minutes, and this way was saying 2 minutes slower. But what it doesn't tell you is this way is 2 minutes slower and red, which means it's going to be way longer than 2 minutes slower. Fucked it. And I was like, well, when you take it into account, I don't have to do this weird 2-minute wiggle that I have to do when I go the other way. Significant amounts of motivation were required to get up this morning. But I did it. I got up, and then got up again after my nap as well, which is always a bonus. But last night I finished the functionality to be able to delete some data, and I jumped down this little rabbit hole about what kind of status code to return if you've already deleted it, or if it's been deleted already. So let's say you do a request to delete and then you do a request again to delete the same thing, it's already gone, so in theory it would do a 404. Do a 404, or should it do a 204, or a 410? But my battery, man, 410 is good, but expensive, you know, because you've got to store all that data for longer. At that point now in my project where I've done all of the, I've procrastinated as much as I possibly can on the back end, and now I just need to get something on the web page going back into the back end, which, to a certain extent, that's what I've got so far. It's pretty dumb. So I need to be able to, obviously this has got to look good at some point, but at the moment I don't really care about that. All I need to do is store some information in the back end. So I need to go through, what I'm thinking about doing at the minute is for doing a GraphQL for gets, and then REST for saves and stuff like that. That's my plan of attack. I've actually got to throw things on the screen now. And I've actually got to make it, not, I don't, like I said, I don't necessarily care about it looking good, but it's got to be in somewhat similar to what it's going to be in the end of the day, you know? I haven't actually put an awful amount of thought into this yet, so I kind of don't know what to do. At the moment, I'm thinking about just slapping on an add button on this screen, and then we can move it around later. The controller is going to be somewhat similar, although I'll need another area for it. But yeah, the controller and stuff is going to be somewhat similar, it's just going to be the thing. And do I attempt to start to try and make it look pretty now, or do I wait? I think all of my GraphQL stuff is not going to go in JavaScript. I think it's going to stay in the ASP, so, in the controllers. So I think we can get away without that. But we'll find out. To a certain extent, I want it to look good sooner rather than later, but I don't want to spend the time on making it look good now, because it's not important. Being classic back-end developer boy here, did not even contemplate how this would look. Didn't even cross my mind. So I'm like, so I think I just right-clicked add area in Visual Studio. Don't do that, because it just crashes your entire computer. What a fucking shitfest. I've come to the point now where I'm trying to design what this thing should look like. And I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to lay it out. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to like find websites for inspiration. I think conceptually it's very close. It's very similar to Azure or Visual Studio Online in the sense where there's kind of like, it's like a process. You're following a process. So in Visual Studio Online you've got things like dashboards, code, work, build, release, test, etc. Now I'm thinking something similar for me. I need something like dashboard, code, configure, which is kind of like my build step, and then there's like test, like actually like running stuff, and then analytics off the back of that. Maybe test and configure can kind of be slapped into the same thing, but like configuration will be things like your settings, so like what's being run where. Your code will be things like your specific projects that you're running, specific like code solutions. Your dashboard will be a summary of, each one of these will be essentially a dashboard of its own. But so if you went to the overall dashboard on the home page, on the main home page, it will give you like all of your code providers, which normally people will only have one, but your code providers. There's a little sidebar to help you get your user settings and your teams or organizations. You then select your providers. It then spits you into the next thing. Or basically, as soon as you pick that, it will push you down into the overall code summary for that person, and then you can then hammer down into each of your things. Do I know enough now to stop? Got it. Right. Okay. So I've figured out roughly how I've got enough so I can start. I've got like a very shallow understanding of how this site's going to be laid out, so I should be able to figure out things like areas and where controllers live and all that shit. For my project, to a certain extent, moving it around isn't that bad. It's just a pain in the arse. So I've got that. Now I just need to get through to the point where I'm adding the thing that I've actually got the ability to add in the back end. So now when I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm not going to just not have anything to do. The problem is, it's really difficult to like get into work when it's like this. When you're in the middle of something, you got your teeth stuck into it, you can just like get up and just work away. But when you're like, okay, I've got all this fucking legwork to set up, I've got all of this scaffolding to do to get all this running, this is like just the pages, let alone actually like interacting with the back end So I need to use, I'm already going to be using GraphQL and fucking Postbacks for this, which is going to be interesting. Not Postbacks, sorry, Autorest, which is going to be good fun. And I'm literally just doing it just to set up the authentication and then lock yourself in, and then I should have a pattern from there. I'm hoping that some GraphQL will be able to just go straight to the API instead of having to go through the controller. But I may end up having JavaScript Ajaxing the controller and then the controller proxying on your behalf because of authentication reasons and all that kind of shit. Yeah, so I've got a plan, like I say. It is hard. This is the hard bit. Like I say, when you're like in it, it's also arguably the bits I'm less interested in. As evidenced by the fact that I've basically designed this entire graph API and APIs to interact with it, and I never even considered how it would actually be interacted with on the front end, apart from like the actual API calls. I'm like, right, so they'll do like a get for this and a post for that, and I'll do a GraphQL for that and all this, but never ever considered anything else. Also, when I went into my work bag to get my work laptop out to see what things like Slack looked like. So I know Slack's got the thing on the side where you can pick your team that you're in and all that kind of shit. And I was like, because I'm basically, I was looking at things like Asana, Visual Studio Online, Azure Portal, at Jira, at Trello, things like that. And I was like, Slack's got this thing. I'll just get Slack to go to thingy it. Went into my bag. And my bag is roastingly hot. It's just like almost on fire. And my laptop is just spinning up. And it's just revving really hard, kicking out a shit ton of heat. It's got 3% battery left. So I got it just in time. I'm like gonna have to charge it because I've got meetings tomorrow morning. And if my battery dies halfway through that meeting, then I'm gonna have to borrow someone else's laptop again, which is always a pain in the ass. Otherwise, 3 days in and I've done 12 hours of work on my project, which is good stuff. Oh no, sorry, 11. I was 2 minutes away from 10:58 I've done. So 11 hours on my project, and Laura's back, which is good for 3 days into a week. I was so close to not waking up. It's weird how like you fight to get up, and when you really don't want to, you fight to get up, and your brain is like really trying to stop you, but yet your body is really trying to stop you, and your brain's like, come on, you can do it, Jenna. You can do it, get up. I probably would have fell back to sleep there if it wasn't for Laura. She kicked me out of bed at like 2:45. I'm making myself a cup of tea. Apple, I'm very tired. I'm at the hump. If I get over this hump, I'll be fine. But I'm definitely at that hump. It's a case of just powwowing through. But yeah, like your brain is like, do you remember me saying earlier, like I haven't got my teeth in anything. It's going to be a weird day today because I've got to give Laura lifts to the train station and stuff. My brain's like, just stay in bed, boy, just stay in bed. Already at the park and ride this morning. Normally I haven't even left by this time. So early in fact that for the first time in a while we're going to run with the lights. Laura's on a course in London today and she needed to take her to the train station at such an awkward time where it makes more sense for me to get here an hour, to get to work an hour early than it does to go home and then go to work, you know what I mean? Look at this, look boys. We're on the road. Oh yeah. To be honest, if I had it my way, I'd nearly always come in this early. I'm much more of a morning person than evenings person, so I'd nearly always opt to come in an hour early and leave an hour early. I'm not sure if I can leave an hour early, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I haven't asked yet. I almost didn't come on the longboard today because I know for a fact it's going to be too wet on the way home. But I thought, I love this longboard ride enough to deal with having to carry it on the bus back. I'm also training myself to get used to going at like eco speed. I don't have to go at 20 miles an hour everywhere, you know what I mean? So I just kind of enjoy going on the path and then just kind of wobbling and just carving a little bit, you know? Just enjoying myself. Oh look, some trick shots where you see how low down to the ground you can get. And just like kind of squat on it like that. That's also good fun too. Also a bit quicker. It shows how much, whoops, big stick, whey! Which shows how much air resistance matters, you know? Whoa, steady on boy. Front battery's just gone, and my remote battery is also low as well, so that needs charging too. It's much better coming by the river than on the road. It's just so much less stressful, you know? You just cruise and relax. I don't know how I did it, but like I nearly didn't go on the longboard today because I thought that it was going to rain on the way back I was like, it's guaranteed to rain on the way back. There's basically no point. I think I managed to dodge it, which was pretty good. I was pretty watchful for that. I managed to leave about half an hour early. I was going to stay all the way, but then I had to very quickly come off and try and fix up some bugs. And I fixed the bugs, and then the amount of time it would take me to switch back into the thing I was trying to finish. I wouldn't have finished it then, so I was like, fuck it, I'll go half an hour early instead of an hour early. Since then it's been go, go, go. I got back, slept, literally got back, slept half an hour earlier than normal, and I try to like religiously go to sleep at 6:10 at night, because I don't want to be tired on the drive, but because I've kind of spent my entire day half an hour out of sync with myself, because my nap in the morning was half an hour before normal, and the nap at lunch was half an hour before normal. It was fine. But I woke up, saw the traffic to go pick Laura up from the train station. I was like, fuck. Went out, went in the train, went to go get her, got her. She's feeling ill. She's like, goes to the rest. I come back here, I cook dinner, go get Laura. I'm like, do you want to have something to eat? She tries to eat something, can't eat something, goes back to bed, not feeling very well. Do all the washing up. I've made my sandwiches, and now I'm making myself a cup of tea, and I'm going to have like a little bit of an hour of programming. And then I might go to bed. So we'll see how it's going. I've got like a little bit of debugging to do. I'm trying to get the security stuff hooked in. I don't know if I said this, but I've decided that I'm going to try and get at least all of the frameworks in that I want to use to the front end. So instead of just kind of smashing it on, I'm just kind of dealing with it later and retrofitting it later. I've discovered how difficult it is to retrofit things at work. So I am smashing all of those things on at the moment. Things like front-end validation, mainly because I want to have a play with them. We're going to end up having to integrate front-end validation at work soon, so it's probably going to help if I've done a little bit here. I'm going to be rolling with Vue stuff, because we're used to it at work. It's pretty friggin' nice. It's a lot better than, well, I prefer it to Knockout, and I don't want Angular or React. And something else that I'm working on. Oh yeah, the security. So yeah, front-end validation, security. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to have, what I'm trying to do is allow the user to select, they're going to start the journey of adding a certain provider onto their platform. It's just going to like, whoop, 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 which is going to be interesting, because it's going to have to like, do calls to the server, do a couple of GraphQL calls. I thought about it as well. What something GraphQL really is good for, if you design a graph of data and you're like, I want to show a certain view of that data, it doesn't matter that it's like 3 different REST calls. There's every now and again we have controllers at work that have to do like 3 calls to the API to get all the data that it needs. No need, just run one query, boy. So definitely not going to be able to longboard tomorrow. So I've done well. This week, 4 days this week I've longboarded, which means I've saved myself about a tenner. Not bad. Almost paying for itself. So I'm going to finish watching this video, take my cup of tea, go do a little bit of work. I have a feeling that we're going to miss our sprint goal this sprint, which isn't good. We've really badly overestimated, which is kind of funny because last sprint we massively underestimated. So not doing well. So I feel like I may end up doing some work for work over the weekend, which I'm not looking forward to. But a balancing act between, are we committed to doing it, so should I do it? Or should I be like, look, we need, because they talked about doing some kind of overtime scheme for the project, and that's not come to fruition, so I feel like I shouldn't do it until they do, you know what I mean? It lagged it down with rain last night, so I bottled it on the longboard. It's probably going to be dry enough for the way home, but it's also raining at some point today, so I thought, you know what, it's probably not going to dry enough. Let's get the bus, let's read my book, have a nice relaxing commute in for a change. Well, you know, a bit more laid back. Maybe I was a tad premature on the old dryness thing, but you never know. I can afford getting the bus once a week. Otherwise, I did get up last night, but I only did about an hour of programming and then decided that it was too unproductive, so instead kind of like just played Hearthstone and chilled out and tried to relax. I didn't want to go back to sleep. I felt really tired, but that means I'm like, I think I'm over the hump now. It's a really frustrating problem with security related stuff, where as soon as I try and put in like claims transformations, it's kind of like I'm authenticated but I'm not authenticated. I'm like authenticated, I get past the authentication middleware, and then the claims transformation checks whether I'm authenticated or not, and then goes bang, no, you're not authenticated, what the fuck? And I'm like, why? What's happening here? And it's giving me like shit all response. So I wasn't having much fun with that, so I just kind of had a chilled out evening. But something else of note, I managed, my 30-minute nap this morning, I managed to have a nightmare. How's that, like, literally like, shit, wake yourself up kind of nightmare? How's that possible in a 30-minute nap? So, to be honest, I think I was chasing the wrong tail. I was kind of chasing my own tail, trying to figure out why the claims transformation wasn't working. Whereas actually, I think the authentication isn't working. I have a sneaking suspicion that it looks like it works, but it just doesn't. And I just need to figure out why that is. If you try it, like, I don't think the token's refreshing properly, so I might just kind of start it again a little bit. I think I built the web before I like updated. I've done a lot of back-end stuff basically, and I've updated things with the back-end to make that work. And I feel like that's now broken the front end. And I think there was a semi-decent version change to make it work on the back end. And I think that's the problem, but it's just kind of being masked. So there's kind of like two different types of authentication that's going on, and the one that matters is the broken one for claims. But then you can still log in because it's still OpenID Connect, but the tokens aren't right. We'll get there. Definitely too cautious. It's perfect longboard weather, but can't complain. I might consider changing the wheels this weekend actually, just for funsies. Actually, might watch the weather forecast. If it warms up enough, it's kind of not worth changing them just to do the leg to the bus and back. I may as well just use my other wheels because they're more comfortable and what have you. But yeah, I don't really need the extra speed or range of the other wheels, so they are fun. I also pre-ordered my the other kind of remote. I'm getting watched while I vlog. They released a new remote and I've ordered it and I'm excited, so I don't know when it's going to come. Actually, I will change the wheels after I get my remote at the very least, so I can try it on those wheels. I won't want to have to try and change it back to try the remote on both wheels, you know. Otherwise today was pretty good. There was quite a lot of back and forth about like the design of the page, which is quite annoying. I had to undo a lot of the work I'd done, but we got it now sorted. I've got a little bit of stuff I want to do over the weekend, so it's ready to PR by the time I get it on Monday. That way we can definitely get it in for the end of the sprint. But the rebase is going to be a bastard, that's the thing. I managed to absolutely fly home this evening. There was no cars on the road, but it's Friday before half term, so what do you expect? Otherwise, wait for Laura to come home, we had some dinner, and now we're going to bed. It's just gone 10 o'clock, but I'm drooping my eyes. It's whenever I'd like sit and watch TV, I start to fall asleep. I could be sat in here working and I'd be fine. I think Laura just shouted. I also think, to a certain extent, I'm like, I think as soon as I get over this hump, as soon as I get over this weekend, sorry, I'll be into it normal, like, just free flowing, you know? Just fucking willpower, boy. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this video now because get into the brighter band of length. We're going to have a fun weekend. What are we going to do? I don't know. Come back, find out. Lots of programming, got some authentication to do, got a web front end to build and configure from scratch. Oof. I hate that shit, but it's got to be done. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you later.